the misty mountains cold.
Is this that Hobbit shit?
Hello, and welcome to another very special edition of That Hobbit Shit. I'm Corey.
And I'm Mike.
Mike, we're here to talk about episode 3 of The Rings of POOer.
Yes, we are, but I think I need a drink first.
Yes, let's, yeah, absolutely. Off to the dragon.
But the only food for the brave and true comes from the Green Dragon.
Welcome to the Green Dragon Inn, the part of the episode where we discuss the strange and unusual beers that we've selected for this episode. Mike, what you got?
Corey, I'm drinking Boys in the Yard, a passion fruit milkshake IPA from Moon Underwater.
I want to say, but continue.
It's smooth. It's a very smooth drinking IPA. Wow.
It's an IPA?
Yeah.
Oh, weird. Okay.
Very weird. That was the point, right?
Yeah, yes. Yeah.
Water, barley, wheat, hops, passion fruit, lactose, and yeast.
Interesting.
There you go. It's good.
Would you
like a little bit sweeter than a regular IPA?
Okay, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, very tasty, very opaque.
Huh. Is it orange like a creamsicle?
It is a light amber, I guess, and opaque.
Okay, I'm picturing it. I'm there with you.
Yeah, it definitely has some floaties too.
Well, there are boys in the yard.
The floaties would be the boys, I assume. Yeah.
We can only assume.
Yeah, I'll just send a little picture to you so you get a picture. This, like the opaqueness of this is wild.
Oh my. Oh yeah, you know what? That's a tasty looking opaque, Mike.
Yeah, it's good. I like it. Not really wild tasting. I don't know what I was expecting, but it's just a tasty beer.
Would you describe it as the flavor of a day in the yard with the boys?
Yeah. You know what? You could have a couple of these in the yard with the boys.
Yeah, okay,
sure.
Cool.
For sure. Corey, what are you drinking?
Well, Mike, I am drinking my strangest of the batch, one that I don't completely understand. It is called Umi, which is a ghost. Yeah, I told you about this one. It is a ghost with Okinawan shikuwasa and salt.
And
oh, sorry, actually, I'm a little behind here.
Oh boy. What is Shikanauswa?
You know what? I think it might actually be a citrus. I'm gonna look that up in one sec because I think I actually might have had a rice beer with the word sounds vaguely familiar to me. I think I had a rice beer with this in it recently. One sec. Okay. The weird guy working at the weird beer place that I got this when I brought it up to the counter was like, oh, what did he say? He said like he said something kind of pretentious, like that one is fuck. I can't think of a pretentious enough descriptive word. He likes it. He was pleased that I selected this one.
He didn't say deep, dark, delicious.
I would have left. Oh yes, shikuwasa is a citrus, and Okinawa is a part of Japan, is it not?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's like a northern island kind of deal.
Oh, okay.
I think
it kind of looks like a shrivelly lime. I love it. Let me actually taste the beer now. Huh. Interesting. Interesting. I'm getting some notes of like Bud Light lime, to be completely honest.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's from Godspeed Brewery. The can says made with struggle and love in Toronto, Canada. Maybe the struggle was to get it to not taste like Bud Light lime.
Wow.
It does have a bit of a salty aftertaste, as it promises, but I'm gonna call it unremarkable.
Wow. Okay. You should go right back to that liquor store.
Yeah, and be like, So, so you work here and you like this. You know that you can get these for $3, right?
uh,
Anyhow, that was a great trip to the dragon.
yeah. So Corey, shall I start in on my summary?
Yes, please, please, Mike. Does your summary have a warning of spoilers?
I guess spoilers ahead. Yeah. This episode started with Arondir, who was captured by the orcs, being dragged off, and he ended up in a camp of other elves and humans who were all being fingered and pinched. Corey, the orcs were digging or orking a digging operation.
Is that
sorry?
Is that a term like orking?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Sorry, never mind. I was really excited for a second.
Oh, I made it up. But they had the elves and men digging ahead of them, and then they were constructing like crude shelters so they could stay out of the sunlight.
Yes, I want to talk about that.
So pretty hellish conditions for those elves, but but we immediately cut to Galadriel, and Halbrand is his name, we found out.
We did, yes.
They're aboard a ship. Are they friends? Are they foe? It turns out it's a little of both, because they're on their way to Numenor. And they're being escorted by Elendil. Did you know this?
That name sounds familiar, Mike.
It's a pretty big name. And as it turns out, Numenorians hate elves.
Yeah, I was a little surprised by that.
Yeah. I was surprised that they hate elves right now, but that's beside the point. We also find out that Isildur is training at sea.
Yes.
He's going to become a captain, and the sea is always right. The cowardly queen of the Numenorians seems to imply that Elendil, to prove his worth, he should kill Galadriel. That's what I took away from that. So
yes.
Back to the orcs, who are tunneling somewhere, and the elves are scheming, as elves tend to do.
Regular elf shit.
Regular elf scheming. And then back to Galadriel, who's riding west with Elendil. And she is really enjoying her horse ride.
I would also like to talk about that.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Halbrand gets into a bit of a bar fight, and he proves to be quite the bar fighter. Mm-hmm. Cuts back to old Galadriel and Elendil. They're in the westernmost part of Numenor with the elf friends going through the libraries, and they uncover some plans for the construction of Mordor.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And we cut over to the hobbits, who are having a pagan festival, a festival of travel. And the not Gandalf character interrupts it with some bumbling. Nori gets in trouble, and she's nearly banished. But instead, her family is moved to the very back of the caravan, which is bad news, because Nori's father was going to try to mask his grave injury somehow by being at the front of the caravan.
Can I interrupt you briefly and say, like, I also threw together a quick summary, and our descriptions of the hobbits are almost completely identical.
I didn't understand Nori's father's plan, but I guess you didn't either. We should be at the front, then they won't know that I've been hobbled.
No one will be able to tell.
Yeah. But it was okay, because they got the not Gandalf stranger to carry the cart after all, so things were okay. Back to the elves, who try to escape the orc tunnel, only to have to fight a warg, which looks like an angry chihuahua.
Again, a note I have.
And they can't get out. Most of the elves are killed, and Arondir is captured, or well, not captured, he's subdued, and he's taken to meet a person who might be Sauron.
The Goblin King?
The Goblin King. What was his name?
I really hope it's a CG David Bowie. Sorry, which Goblin King? He was the name of the episode, wasn't he?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Adar or something like that?
Adar, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the episode, pretty much, right? Anything I missed?
Yes. No, I don't think so. Should we start with gripes? Number one, no dwarves.
Oh, not a single dwarf. You're right. That was. I've got a couple of gripes here, Corey.
Ooh,
Yeah,
well,
no dwarves. I assume that just means that what's his pickle is progressing with his relations with the dwarves.
yeah, maybe they've already started building their giant ring factory.
Yeah, for some unnamed rings. I'm not going to get into grapes yet. Numenor was fucking cool. How
I
about
have
that?
some notes about Numenor, Mike. Yeah.
Yeah, what's that?
Well, it was pretty neat. I agree with you.
It had like an ancient Minas Tirith feel, if that makes sense.
Yes. It was like they took a picture of Minas Tirith and hit it with some kind of like fractal effect. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was also cool to see Galadriel like a bit shook at how beautiful it was
Yeah.
and like hiding it, pretending she pitied them.
Pretending it wasn't perhaps the greatest place in the world. The momentum of the story though, I mean at the beginning of the episode more so, kind of I was like, wow, they're in Numenor, but then like the momentum just died immediately.
Oh,
Because they were like, oh, we have to introduce this other whole entire power structure.
it's pretty weird. My first major gripe with the show is the way Numenor is being handled and the timeline. I don't really understand it, and I have some pretty big concerns about how it relates to the lore, and it's kind of like in Revenge of the Sith, how you find out that
Hmm.
it's only going to take them like 10 years to build a Death Star.
Yes, exactly. Uh, yeah, and like the Empire has only been in power for, like, yeah, 10 or 15 years. Yeah, that's a very good comparison.
Uh,
Um, Sorry.
yeah, unless it might turn out, Corey, that Sauron is already in Numenor, and that's why half of the Numenorians are against the elves right now.
Oh, very
Because I
interesting.
think he is supposed to have planted that little seed of hatred.
Ah,
I think he's the one that starts pushing them to start sailing further and try to make a push for. I can't mention that. It might still be in the show, but anyway, yeah, there's a lot of hatred in Numenor that shouldn't be there yet. It's supposed to be the great deceiver that goes there and causes problems for them.
yeah, and long after he deceives Celebrimbor. And
Yeah,
like, yeah, that timeline part kind of is weird to me too. So it's like, so they will make the rings, have the War of the Rings, et cetera, all by the time spoiler, Isildur is old enough to, um, I guess Elendil is murdered on the battlefield, and Isildur cuts the ring off of Sauron's fingers. Like all these big names, if you've been paying attention to the Madam House, are like we know their fates,
yeah,
and like to have them all here all right now at this time, like, yeah, it makes it seem like it's going to be a very short turnaround.
yeah. Although it could be 150 years or so still.
Yes.
Maybe,
Yeah.
I think the older Numenorians might have even lived to like 400 possibly.
Oh, like, oh, Aragorn's dwindled, isn't he?
Yeah, he's already been been hit with the dwindle.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, and he's 80 in the Lord of the Rings, so or in his
Yeah,
80s.
interesting.
So, Elendil could be, I don't know, he could be 80 right now, and he's got another 250 years, 300 years to live.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. I mean,
So,
yeah,
but
yeah,
it's
sorry.
still pretty sped up.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of weird because like when we got to Numenor and like I thought that the story progression slowed quite a bit because they had to introduce all this stuff. Was seriously hit with like, oh yeah, right, 5 seasons.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the
uh,
weird part. I guess the War of the Rings is going to be pretty drawn out, but like the Numenorians are going to have to establish base camp on Middle Earth, which I assume is going to happen when they get there with Galadriel.
yeah.
And probably the elf friends will be the ones to do it, and then maybe they start building Minas Tirith and Minas Morgul and Osgiliath right away.
Oh yeah,
But they also
Jesus.
build like the Argonath, is that what they're called? The
Yep.
like which are cool now that we have seen Numenor and the giant statues they built there.
Yes, yeah. That was pretty cool. And I kind of liked its sort of exaggeration of the Argonath. Like the
Yeah,
Argonath are in Middle Earth, but Numenor had way more.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's just cool the way they're like they don't have much to build off of in terms of what it looked like, but they can build off of what they know the ancient buildings of the Numenorians in Middle Earth look like. So
yeah, yeah,
which
yeah.
are which are all ancient and crumbling by the time the time the Aragorn is going abreast with the Fellowship.
Yeah, 3-ish thousand years later, approximately, or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite a long time.
You mean 200. Um, what was I going to say? Okay, but in terms of positives, Elendil.
Sure.
I can't
Either way,
pronounce his name correctly.
we all know who we're talking about.
Yeah, his character might be the best casting so far in the show, I think.
Yeah, I like him quite a bit. I like his acting. Yeah, he looks the part. He looks like a Numenorian.
And he like commands respect, and like I feel like he is part of a royal bloodline that's just like they're hiding from I can't remember her name, the like person in waiting. I can't remember the queen. No, she's not the
the,
queen.
the
The
Queen
queen
Regent.
regent. Yeah,
Yeah,
because apparently the king has lost his marbles.
apparently. Though it's hard to say if he has.
Yeah, he's awesome. Who's to say about his son? I don't remember his daughter from the Silmarillion. Um, yeah,
Yeah, I was tempted to look up the history a little bit of people like an Ariana and Isildur and Elendil, et cetera, et cetera. Just out of curiosity. But then I was also like, well, then I'm just gonna probably be more aware of where they deviate from the books.
yeah.
So I'll
But
just wait.
so far I'm enjoying all of it, and it feels like they're okay. Here's another thing, or you go ahead. Sorry.
Well, no, that's kind of it. Though I did want to say to the point of you don't remember his daughter, Mike. I guarantee you that the only thing his daughter ever was in the book is a name on a family tree.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
yeah, probably.
yeah.
Yeah. And
But
now
that's a
she is some eye candy for his son to fight about.
sketchbook. Did you catch that sketchbook note?
Oh, she did have a sketchbook, didn't she?
Yeah. Well, they never showed it. I thought she'd be drawing some stuff.
Hmm.
But you were about to embark on a point there, bro.
Oh, okay. So, do you still think the wizardly stranger is Gandalf?
100%. Why?
Okay, just wondering. All right, I hope he's Gandalf.
I think yeah, I think what happened this episode would make it that much more ridiculous if it wasn't Gandalf. If that makes
Yeah,
sense to you.
his bumbling
Yeah.
and his
Uh
helping.
sorry, I have one or two more notes about Numenor specifically.
Oh, sure, go ahead.
If I may. So Galadriel is really enjoying and doing all the things that she can't do when she's cooped up in Lothlorien a little while from now, like riding horses and being on the sea, etc.
Yeah, what the fuck was with that horse scene?
Yes, we need to talk about the horse riding scene. It was absurdly beautiful. Like it's strictly from an observational standpoint, not negative, not positive. It had no business being that beautiful.
You're right. But then I was shook right out of it by her facial expression as she was riding that horse.
Yeah, are you saying it was not as beautiful as the
She looked like the pooer.
poo joke number one? Yeah, it was it was she was in heights of emotions that I don't think I have in my life reached.
Maybe she's never ridden a horse. Maybe it's forbidden amongst the Eldar.
Well, they were walking in those frozen wastes. It
Yeah.
seemed like they walked the length of Middle Earth.
Hmm.
So yeah, maybe not.
Actually, well, and there was a point where she was like, "Ride." What do you have any other Numenor notes? I actually should have taken more, but I was like just staring at the screen the whole time.
Yeah, pretty exciting that they're in Numenor. I okay, one last thing about Numenor is can we make fun of the tapestry that was in the library?
I didn't notice it.
The one that had Elrond in it?
No, I didn't. I didn't notice. I think I was taking notes about something.
Oh, okay. They sort of passed by it when Galadriel is like, I was better friends with his brother. And then it shows the tapestry and it's like it's so, and I get that Numenor is high technology, high art and all that kind of stuff, but it's so realistic and looks exactly like the actor playing Elrond. But yeah,
Uh,
it's kind of laughable.
and they probably haven't seen him in 1,000 years.
Exactly, yeah. He's just
Same haircut.
yeah, same Doogie Howser coif or whatever. And yeah. So if you go back through the episode, like take special note.
Okay. Uh,
Yeah, sorry, I'm done with Numenor. Should we go to the Hobbits?
yeah, you got some Hobbit notes?
Well, we were talking about how drunk they must have been to not notice Gandalf stumbling into their camp.
They were just having their little, departure party, and then he almost set the whole place up on fire too.
Yep. Yeah, he did.
For someone who possesses a ring of fire, he doesn't know much about fire.
Poo joke number two. Yeah. Um, yeah, I don't know. Agreed. Sorry, I kind of lost.
I like the Hobbits. I'm enjoying them.
I didn't really realize last two episodes. Maybe this was more obvious I realized, but it occurred to me now that they live in little fucking Winnebagos. Like
Caravans.
yeah, it was interesting.
I read some people online complaining about the Hobbits being too like selfish, kind of. Which
Okay.
is ridiculous because like have you not read The Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit?
Yeah, that's like at the core of their being.
Yeah.
uh
Yeah.
Tiffany often brings up if and when we talk about this sort of thing, that she's like, wait, so hobbits are the ones that hate having guests but are always ready to have guests. Bilbo had 13 coat hangers but didn't want a single person in his house.
Yeah, he had like 7 chickens cooked and ready to go, just in his larder. Barrels of beer, several seed cakes.
Yeah, so yeah, hobbits are selfish, yeah, not lore appropriate. But Mike, those stupid fat hobbits, and I'm calling them hobbits, not Harfoots. Those stupid fat hobbits were laughing about the one of them that was killed by bees. That's probably the worst possible way to die.
Maybe it was like the Nicolas Cage scene from Wicker Man where they were like, "Not the bees, not the bees."
So they were laughing at it because it was poorly acted. Is that
Yeah, exactly. Or it's just a ridiculous memory.
They look back at it and they're like, wow, people went to theaters to see that sort of thing.
People bought that on DVD.
For their Nicolas Cage collections.
Yeah.
Anything else to say about the Hobbits?
I'm just enjoying the Hobbits.
Yeah.
Got nothing bad to say about them. What else? It's kind of cool to see the creation of Mordor slowly, like inch by bloody inch.
Oh yeah. Orcs is my other section of notes. Yeah, it's cool. They're like disgusting umbrella tunnel is sweet.
Yeah, they just like cobble it together as they go, and then you see their path of like disgusting destruction.
Yeah. And they're all like covered in like gross shawls. Like
Yeah, and I love that they're actual people in costume.
yeah, their makeup is actually quite good because they all look like burned or scarred or ruined, if you will.
Yeah, ruined. Yeah, I think the showrunners took note of people's complaints about The Hobbit. They must have.
Oh, interesting.
Because
Yeah.
like, why wouldn't they CG them, But people complain so much about the Hobbit orcs, they must have been like, we can't fuck that up.
Yeah. Well, they continue to be quite scary, and I like how they're all wearing like animal skulls and like
Yeah, they are scary, which is cool, and like the elves are scared of them,
yeah,
which they should be because they haven't encountered them in like several hundred years or whatever.
yeah, which sort of worked out well when the elves were like trying to escape. I think like neither side was really that prepared.
Yeah.
In a good way. But the warg, speaking of CG, the warg was a bit of an unfortunate CG event.
I don't know. So I heard someone refer to him. Have you seen the Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers movie yet?
I know of it, and
Okay.
I know the premise.
Um, so do you remember the Sonic the Hedgehog trailer that came out where people were like aghast at?
Yes, yes.
Someone referred to him as Sonic the Warg.
Yeah, I could see that. It really stood out, like as
It was really bad. I don't understand why he had those balls. Like it didn't look like this evil monster. It looked like this silly buffoon.
yeah. I mean, the wargs in the Peter Jackson trilogy, I always thought were kind of odd because they had like squashy faces.
Yeah, they weren't. They were probably the worst CG in the whole trilogy.
Oh, well, you just figured it out. They're just carrying that on.
Yeah, yeah, they're oddly out of place, and like even the animation is a little choppy too. Like when the dead body flops onto the surface, it looked
Yes.
stop motion,
Yeah. Yeah, it was weird.
which
But like,
would have been cool if the whole thing moved stop motion. I would have been down with that.
oh man, like a really gross, like its fur would have been like all out of sorts, and oh yeah, that would have been sick.
Yeah, like and if it was just the only thing because it's like this unearthly creature,
Yes. Oh man.
but just
Yeah.
its death throes in stop motion.
Yeah, which was weird. Yeah, its death I think was almost like the worst part.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
I've got one more thing, Corey.
Yes.
Uh, who do you think Halbrand is?
Oh,
Do you have any predictions?
well, now that you mention it, you were talking about how Nori is this series is Frodo,
Yeah.
which is hilarious. Now we know that Halbrand is Aragorn. Ta-da!
Oh, interesting.
He's just kind of like a negative version Aragorn, like the
Yeah.
king in hiding. That's cool, I guess.
I
But
think, Corey,
yes.
that he is going to be one of the Nazgul, possibly the
Oh,
Witch King.
oh, fucking yeah. Oh my God. Oh, that would be so cool. Oh, he'll rise to be a king of man and then or men and hopefully more than just one person. And then he'll be given a ring. Oh, fuck, man, that would be so cool.
Yeah, wouldn't it?
Mike,
And
that's a
like,
cool prediction.
I feel like they're kind of creating this red herring where people are going to think he's Sauron.
Oh, interesting.
So that would be a double fake out, you know?
Yeah. Oh man, that's cool. That had not even in the slightest crossed my mind.
He's one of the Southern Kings.
Mm-hmm.
How many could there
Wow.
be? More than seven? I don't know.
How many Southern Kings could there possibly be? Um, yeah, that's a good prediction. I don't really have any predictions after this episode, to be completely honest, other than hoping that Sauron is a CG David Bowie, like I mentioned. But
Oh boy. Yeah, I don't know that Arda is going to be Sauron for sure.
yeah, it's hard to say. Like, I feel like there must be red herrings,
Yeah,
like several, I would think.
I don't think we'll see Sauron until episode 7 or 8.
Did
But
we ever confirm? Okay, hang on. I'm going to confirm right now how many episodes there actually are.
I think there are 8.
8. Oh, you're right. Okay, sorry, Mike. I'll shut up.
We did it. Yeah,
um.
so wow, we're almost halfway through the series.
Oh yeah, yeah. I guess you're right.
Or through the season. Yeah, I think we'll see him episode 7 or 8. I don't think they're going to reveal him before then.
Yeah, that might kind of make sense. It's kind of wild. Like, yeah, an hour and 9 minutes later, I don't know that a lot really happened in this episode.
No, they had to establish Numenor, and there are a lot of there's a lot going on there, and a lot of bootlicking.
Yeah. Well, you were right. You had a pretty good. You said Numenor could potentially or should potentially be like rivaling Game of Thrones in terms of like political intrigue and backstabbing and stuff.
Right, I did say that, and
Yeah.
but they it's not really. It's just like, yeah, things are shitty there.
Well, I mean, yeah, it could be. Again, I got thinking of like, oh, 5 seasons, eh? Like,
Yeah.
there's a like, and yeah,
Yeah,
this,
it could get pretty hairy there. Like if yeah, who's to say 5 seasons? You're right.
yeah.
Once the Great Deceiver moves over across the ocean to be there.
Once the orgies start, as we
Yeah.
predicted since day one of that
Yeah,
Hobbit
we
shit.
have not seen an orgy yet,
Correct.
which
I
is
have
odd.
We all know it's there. It's on the tip of everybody's tongues. Every character you can just like, the acting is so good that you know they know about the orgies.
I think that's why the king of all elves has ended their war on the orc, so they can just focus on splendor.
Splendor and excess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
Galadriel's gonna be pissed when she goes home.
just finds them all orgy. I'd have thought that Galadriel has to befriend like nearly everybody in the series, like every character.
They're
Like
all gonna meet her.
I think they're gonna have to at some point. Like she's gonna have to bro out with Gandalf, possibly even meet Nori. I don't know. To be
Oh,
like,
boy.
oh yes, this race is cool and will help us in the future, etc., etc. Things that we cringed about months ago.
Yeah, which are like so far so good. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fine.
My only major gripe is the timeline.
Yeah, yeah. Which, and to be completely fair, we've been burned before by Star Wars. So that's potentially a big one.
Yeah, but they might do a time jump during the, like between seasons and just say like, yeah, they built these cities on rock and roll.
Well, yeah, it is interesting thing. Only Nori, the hobbits, and the doctor friend of Arondir. Those are the only real like mortals, really. Like the elves can all live for forever, and the Numenorians can live for a long time. So yeah,
Yeah. I hope that they just extend the Numenorian's life so that like it's a pretty convenient plot device to be able to say, yeah, these people live 400 years, so we can do this. I don't know if it's 400, but they could, stretch it out. We're already stretching it out.
yeah. No, yeah, totally. Yeah, you're right. It is a very convenient plot device, and it'd almost be silly not to utilize it in some way.
Yeah, because how do you build Minas Tirith in like under, I don't know, 100 years?
Yeah, well, and you listed off all those cities too, and like
Yeah.
there's the entire kingdom of Arnor,
Yeah.
which was decimated by Halbrand. I mean, sorry, the Witch King.
Yeah.
Man, that's cool. I really hope that plays out, Mike.
It would be neat, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
His character arc, him just being destroyed in the end.
Yeah,
I like it makes sense. He's a struggling guy who's like has no kingdom, and if he was offered a ring to like, give his people power and control.
yeah, totally. Make his kingdom strong, etc.
Yeah, strong.
You again for listening. Find us again in a week where we'll talk about episode 4. Email us thathobbitshit@gmail.com, Instagram @thathobbitshit, Twitter @hobbitshit, patreon.com/thathobbitshit to support the show. Get stickers and t-shirt and posters soon to come. Thank you to our Patreon supporters, Nicole, Jeremy, and Judy. I'm Corey.
And I'm Mike.
And may the
May the
hair on your toes
never fall out.
out. That was really good.